The benefits of a custom golf club fitting are well documented. The process simply aims to put golf clubs in your hand which have the best club head, shaft, lie angle, loft, grip, etc. to fit your physical dimensions, strength, stance and swing. Getting custom fitted for golf clubs can benefit any golfer, almost regardless of playing ability, but what about if you already have a set of clubs you like, but which were not custom fitted for you? A golf club is a golf club after all, and if you don't really want to give up your current set, surely it makes sense to get changes made to your existing clubs to get the best of both worlds. So in this video we run through the main club elements changes which can be made through a custom fitting and look at the practicalities and pros and cons of each of them to see whether it is possible to get the benefits of custom fitting without the cost and hassle of getting an entirely new club or set of clubs. By the time amateurs have played golf for a while, chances are they'll have built their set by collecting different ones from different places along the way. Or if you're like me and have played for a long time, you may have got stuck with the same set of clubs for a number of years and never got round to seriously thinking about changing them because they seem fine. For these groups of golfers and others who have simply bought standard clubs off the shelf, they may therefore have a set of clubs that have not been custom fitted for them. But having become aware of custom fitting and the benefits, the question for a lot of players becomes one of whether you can get your existing or off-the-rack clubs fitted after you buy them. As with everything in golf, the answer is not as straightforward as we would like. There are multiple elements of your current clubs that can potentially be changed, but not all of them will always be possible or advised depending on the types of clubs you have now. The most straightforward element of an old club you can change is of course the grip. It's very easy to identify poor grips at a custom fitting and get them replaced with ones that not only fit the size of your hands well, but also feel better. However, even with grip changes, it can be a bit more complex than it first appears, and that is because of weight. A big change in the weight of a golf club can lead to big differences in the results of golf shots. Ball speed, launch angles, spin rates, ball flight, etc. can all change when the same golfer uses a different weighted club. And although the shaft is the main way amateur golfers can change the weight of their clubs, another way is by changing the grip. Now, it's pretty unlikely that you'll choose a new grip for your current clubs at a custom fitting that makes such a difference to the weight of the club that it will change how it plays for you. However, because every golf swing is different, certain players' swings are more sensitive to weight than others. So any time you start changing the weight of a club, you're potentially changing its playability for the good or bad. It's very doubtful that will happen through a change of grip recommended through a club fitter, but it is just the first example of unforeseen consequences which can happen when you start making changes to your existing golf clubs. Next in the list of features of your current clubs which can be changed are the lofts and lies. Although loft and lie adjustments are done frequently, particularly for regular players with forged irons where the soft metal is more prone to bend over time, this is not always a very straightforward process. Not all irons are able easily to be bent, and some of them not at all, even by an expert club fitter. Cast irons, for example, which are made by pouring molten metal into a mould to produce a golf club head, can be made of very hard steel compared to soft forged irons, which is hugely difficult to bend. Other cast irons are simply not recommended to bend for loft and lie changes simply because they can break. It all depends on your specific irons, but it's not always just a simple case of asking for a loft and lie adjustment and it being easy. When it comes to drivers and fairway woods also, a lot of existing clubs are not able to have their loft and lie changed because the head will not be able to handle a bend to the hosel. Even those drivers with adjustable hosels that allow for a change of lofts may only result in a change of lie angle rather than the loft if you rest the sole of the driver on the ground at address. Because the change of loft always requires the club head to be held with the face square to the target, which only happens if you hover the club head off the ground before hitting the shot. And while that's possible with a driver, it's hard to do with a fairway wood. So frequently, if you need a different loft and lie on your current driver and woods, you're going to have to change the club heads rather than adjust your existing ones. Switching the old shaft of a golf club and replacing it with a new one is another change to your current clubs which can be done and is very possible for a club fitter to do. But while the practical element of changing shafts can certainly be done, it's not the only factor you need to consider when it comes to swapping out the shafts in your current clubs. Firstly, it's not as easy to switch out shafts and test them out on some older clubs as it is in modern, original equipment manufacturer clubs and their fitting systems. And secondly, if your change of shaft means a change in weight of your current clubs, then that again is not something to take lightly, because weight matters a lot when it comes to golf clubs. Large differences in golf club weight can lead to vastly different shot results: ball speed, launch angles, spin rates, ball flight, etc. So when the player uses a different weighted club, the distances and accuracy results can be very different. And no matter what the stats in the launch monitor say, the most critical thing when it comes to the weight of club is how it feels to you. Feel is without doubt the overriding factor. Further, no matter what you hear around the clubhouse, golf club makers are all agreed that shaft weight is more important than shaft flex when it comes to golf shots. Club fitting expert James McNiven, talking to Golf Digest, put it this way: golfers can just about get away with playing the wrong shaft flex, but getting the wrong weight can absolutely kill your game. Therefore, if you're thinking about changing the weight of your current clubs through a shaft change, then just be aware that while a good club fitter can definitely do that for you, they may also have to make other adjustments. For example, they may also have to add or remove weight from the club head to get the overall swing weight of the clubs to a level that fits your swing and feels right for you. In short, it's not just as simple as you may first have thought of swapping in some new shafts and the job is done. If you're taller or shorter than the average golfer and you bought off-the-rack clubs, it may be that some adjustments will help. It could be a more straightforward lie angle change, but another club change that is possible to achieve the best fit length for your current clubs is making them shorter or longer. Once again, an experienced club fitter can cut your clubs down to size or extend them, but that again is not always as straightforward as it may first appear. Because the hard part when you start taking length off or adding it to existing clubs is again the weight. Cut a club shorter and the club fitter will likely need to add weight back onto the club head to get the overall weight back to what feels right for your individual swing. And while that again can be done on irons, it is a very difficult thing for even the best club fitters to do on drivers, fairway woods or hybrids. Lengthen an existing golf club and you'll potentially need to remove weight from the club head by comparison to get the total weight right. With irons, grinding weight off the club head can be done, but if they are forged, you will likely have to re-chrome the heads or they will rust. When it comes to drivers and woods though, taking weight off the club head is next to impossible as the walls of the head body are too thin. So in brief, when shortening existing clubs, you're much more able to get the overall weight to feel like they used to. If you're adding some length to it, chances are they are not going to feel like the same club afterwards, which may defeat the purpose. Now that we have run through the list of things that you can get changed in clubs you've already bought, grips, lofts, lies, shafts, lengths, etc. through a custom fitting, and even if the limitations which we've covered don't apply to your set, and all your changes are possible, there's always the main element to consider, and that is of course cost. Say you only want to change the most straightforward thing in your existing clubs, the grips. On average, the cost to regrip a club is roughly $10, so if you're changing grips on the whole set of 14 clubs, that's $140. Add in a loft and lie change for your current irons and you're probably looking at around $30 to $50 for the club fitter's time, then another $30 in the cheaper end to bend 7 or 8 clubs. Change the shafts in a few clubs and you're likely into the hundreds of dollars, particularly if you're getting into the specialist custom options available. So you can easily see that if you find out from your custom fitting assessment of your current clubs the shafts are wrong and you need new grips and loft and lie adjustments, it could get costly, as well as risk damaging your clubs in the bending process. Looking at it another way, let's say your current clubs, when you get custom fitted, cost $600 2 years ago. On average, a 2-year-old golf club will depreciate close to 60%, which means by the time of the custom fitting, they'll be worth $240. For what other piece of equipment that you have would you potentially invest the same amount or more of their value into it, especially when that investment could take you potentially more than halfway or more towards the cost of a fully custom fitted new set. Now, we're not saying that buying new clubs makes financial sense either. Given how much golf clubs depreciate, it is not and never is. Nor are we saying that it's always a bad idea to get some custom fitting changes made to existing sets. If you play regularly and use forged irons, for example, a loft and lie check every year or two is definitely advised, as the soft metal can undoubtedly bend to alter the lofts over time. Grips obviously wear out sometimes too and need to be replaced. The main point when it comes to costs is that if your custom fitting recommends major alterations to your current clubs, you will more than likely end up putting a lot of money into a set of older clubs whose value has depreciated a lot since you bought them. If you are very attached to your existing clubs and have your heart set on taking them to the next level with a custom fitting, then just be aware that costs can add up and may take you closer to the cost of a new set of custom clubs than you thought. A good club litter will undoubtedly keep you right and take you through what are good and bad alternatives to your custom setup. Just make sure you go into the process with your eyes open as to what's possible and what it may cost. In summary, therefore, it's clear to see that there are a whole raft of changes an experienced club expert can make to custom fit your existing clubs. Just be absolutely clear, though, that what sounds like a simple change on paper may have a list of other consequences which you had not initially thought of. The more you change your clubs, the more unintended consequences there may be. As such, you need to be absolutely clear that the result of a custom fitting of your current clubs, if you are determined to hang on to them, will improve rather than detract from them. In addition, while making changes to which clubs you carry or the makeup of your set is not technically a change to an old golf club, it's an important part of the custom fitting process and something you should definitely be thinking about. There are still lots and lots of golfers who today are using golf clubs that are simply not suited for their game. Players, for example, with a swing speed of between 85 to 90 miles an hour should potentially not have anything lower than a 6-iron in their bag, with hybrids or fairway woods making up the rest of the set up to driver. Technology has moved golf equipment on in leaps and bounds over the last couple of decades, and a golf club fitting can simply help you to identify which of your current clubs, such as a 3, 4 or 5-iron for example, maybe don't need altered, but actually taken out of your bag completely. We hope you found this video useful. Please check out our other videos in Golf in Focus, and most importantly, as always, enjoy your golf.